Hi, welcome to the Warm Hug Wrap tutorial so you can stay warm and cozy all winter long. Let's jump right in. This sweater composition is basically just like two sleeves and then a longer scarf for the body portion, and it's all worked up in one piece so you don't have too many breakoffs of the yarn. I'm using Juniper Moon Farms Cotton and Merino blend in chalk. It's very fluffy and cozy and luscious, and you can use this or a similar yarn or a different yarn. It's up to you. I sized up and hook to a 6.5 size hook just because I wanted this sweater to be like really chunky. Use whatever size hook you think is going to be best for your project. We're going to start, of course, with just a slip knot, and then I want you to take your yarn and get an idea of how long you want your sweater to be, or at least the sleeves. If you want to leave some thumb holes for yours, you need to measure from the palm of your hand to the inside of your elbow. If you don't want thumb holes, then measure from your wrist to the inside of your elbow. So we're going to skip a chain row and we are just going to do a half double crochet foundational row. If you're not sure how to do that, it's really simple. All you're going to do is chain 3, yarn over, insert your hook into the very first stitch that you created. You're going to yarn over and pull through so you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through just one of those loops, yarn over again, and pull through all 3. You should now have 2 half double crochet stitches in your foundational chain. Let's do it again. Yarn over and insert your hook through that bottom stitch that you made when you pulled 1 through that first loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through all 3 again, and now you have 3 stitches that you've made. This method means that we can avoid doing a foundational chain, and any chance that I have to avoid a foundational chain, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to do this half double crochet foundational row instead, and this is going to count as our row 1. And you're just going to continue doing this for the rest of the way until you get to your desired length that runs from your elbow to either the center of your palm or your wrist, depending whether or not you want your sleeves to have thumb holes. All right, keep going and I'll see you when you get to the end of this row. Alright, once your foundational half double crochet row is at its desired length, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, turn, and in this first stitch, the very first stitch, I'm pointing to it right here, you are going to do a slip stitch in the back loop only. This is going to give us our cute little V shapes and almost knit-like effect. So just insert your hook into that back loop, yarn over, and pull through into a slip stitch, and that's all you're going to do for row 2 are these back loop only slip stitches. Super easy. Keep going for the rest of the row. I'll meet you at the end of row 2. So in the last stitch of row 2, I'm not going to do a back loop slip stitch. Instead, I am just going to do a regular slip stitch going through the full entirety of the stitch, or of that half double crochet stitch, to again just make a regular slip stitch. Once that is done, I am going to chain 2, turn my work, and get started on row 3. Row 3 is going to sound familiar because row 3 is just going to be back loop half double crochets. In the back loop of that very first stitch, you are going to yarn over and insert your hook. You can see I'm showing it to you right now with just the hook. And all of your half double crochets here in this row are going to be back loop half double crochets. So to do this again, we yarn over, insert the hook into only the back loop. That's the loop furthest away from you. Yarn over, pull through, you have 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of those loops on your hook. Let's do it again. Yarn over, insert into the back loop only. Might be a little tight. Yarn over and pull through, you have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3. Repeat this until you get to the very end of your row. You should be at the end of row 3 here, and at the very last stitch of row 3, instead of doing a back loop, I actually just did a full regular half double crochet. And for row 4, you're going to chain 1, turn, and same pattern as before, back loop slip stitches all the way down the row. You're going to repeat these rows for the entirety of your sleeve. Right now you're working on your back loop slip stitches, and so your next row will be back loop half double crochet, and then another row of back loop slip stitches, then another row of back loop half double crochet. That's it. That's the whole sleeve. You're just alternating rows of those stitches. It's very easy. You'll be done with your sleeve when it can wrap all the way around your forearm with just a little bit of stretch. If you would like for it to fit more loose or more snug, that's entirely up to your own preference. I would highly recommend something a bit more snug, and if it does end up being too loose on one end or the other, we can always thread some elastic up in there later at the end to make sure that it fits with the adequate snugness so that it stays where it needs to be. Next, we're going to start building the body of the wrap sweater. So what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook again through your loop, and you're going to single crochet along the arm opening of your sleeve right across here. You're just going to put a single crochet wherever you feel is necessary, not too loose, not too snug. Just go as you feel is appropriate for the length of your sleeve. As you can see here, I'm just placing my single crochets where they feel best placed. I'm not concerned with putting X many single crochets per row here because I've been working with slip stitches and half double crochets. So it's just wherever they feel appropriate, and I'm also trying to keep them evenly spaced. Trust your gut, and I'll see you at the end of this row. Alright guys, now the fun part. We need to do some quick math. So count how many single crochets you have just made and multiply by 2. What we're looking for is a number divisible by 5 plus 4. For example, here I had 29 single crochet. Doubled, that number is 58. The closest divisible number by 5 is 60. If I add 4 to that, then my stitch count needs to be 64. This means that for the next row, I need to make 64 double crochet. Generally, what you're going to do, no matter what your numbers end up being, is you're probably going to just place 2 double crochet in each single crochet. You will likely have to place 3 double crochet in one single crochet at various points to get to your stitch count. Plan them out ahead by attaching a stitch marker where you plan to place any 3 double crochets so that you don't forget and they're evenly spaced out. Don't forget, you should also do a stitch count at the end of the row to make sure that you do have the correct amount of stitches. Remember, your total double crochet needs to be a number that is divisible by 5 plus 4. You did it! Great job! So for the next row, don't chain. We are going to turn. For all of our double crochet rows, when you start a new row, we are going to do a stacked double crochet. It's very simple. Here's how you do it. You're going to make a single crochet into the stitch underneath your hook, and then you are going to insert your hook through the first loop of that single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and finish that as another single crochet, and that is again a stacked double crochet. Once you've done that, you need to crochet 4 more double crochet, and then we're going to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. That is more or less going to be your pattern here, is 4 double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. You do this repeatedly over the next several rows. That is eventually going to give you that kind of stripy effect without having to use like a change of color. It also gives this a nice texture and a little bit of breathing in the scarf if you need it. Continue working the row just like this, and I'll see you at the end of this row. So now that I'm getting to the end of this row, I should have 4 solid double crochets on each side of the row. That's going to end up being 4 solid double crochets on each side of the scarf. So make sure that you finish strong on this row, and we're basically going to do the exact same thing for the next row. Remember, we're not chaining, we're doing a stacked double crochet to start our next row. So don't chain, just turn your work. Insert your hook into the stitch just below it and make a single crochet. Once you've made that single crochet, insert your hook into that post on the left, yarn over, pull through, and finish that stitch as a single crochet. Once you've done that, make 3 regular double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. These should line up with your previous row. So if your little mesh holes are not lining up with the mesh holes of the previous row, make whatever adjustments you need to make sure that those line up, or you won't get the same kind of stripy effect that we're going here. Okay, maintaining this pattern, you are going to make what feels like the biggest, longest scarf you have ever made in your entire life, probably because it is the biggest, longest scarf you've ever made in your entire life. The entirety of the body of the scarf should be able to wrap around you from one elbow to the other. Again, I recommend more of a snug fit, especially if you are using a yarn that likes to stretch as you wear it or after you block it, as this is a garment that will stretch with wear. That is kind of the nature of how you wear this garment. Once you've reached this length, come back so we can start building the second sleeve. Alright, it was nice to go on autopilot for the body of the scarf there, wasn't it? But back to focused energy on our crocheting. When you are done with the body, we need to start building the second sleeve, and to do that, we need to decrease our double crochets by the same amount that we increased on our first sleeve. So that means we need to learn how to do a crochet decrease if you don't already know how to do one. Now, I want the effect of these decreases on my second sleeve to be as close to the effect on the first sleeve as possible. It's not going to be perfect going from increase to decrease, but it'll do. It'll work. It'll be fun. Nobody's gonna know. So here's how you do a decrease. So starting with that very first stitch, I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, draw up a loop. So now I have 2. I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull through 2 like I'm doing a single crochet. I'm going to insert my hook into that first post of the single crochet. I'm going to yarn over, pull through. I now have 2 loops. And this is where we get a little bit different. You're going to insert your hook into the next stitch of the previous row, yarn over, pull through. You should now have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, pull through 2, yarn over again, pull through 2, and that is how you do a double crochet decrease. This is the decrease that I am going to use throughout the rest of this row. So again, you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, draw up a loop. Sorry, I had to fiddle with my yarn here so I could feel my cat tugging on it. Let's try this again. Yarn over, insert into your stitch, Pull up a loop, you now have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, you should have 2 loops left on your hook, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, you now have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is another decrease done. So you're just going to do those decreases all the way down this row like so. There is another way that you can choose to do a decrease, and you can just insert your hook through both of these stitches at the same time. How you're going to do that is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook through the first stitch, and then go straight into the second stitch like so. Yarn over, pull up a loop, you now have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 like a regular double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2. It's basically just a regular double crochet. Now, I feel like the first method of double crochet decreases is going to give me the effect that I want, so that's what I'm going to stick with. If you prefer doing the second method of decreases, go for it, my dude. This is your sweater scarf. You do what you want. Now, if you had to do a triple increase after the first sleeve, you're probably going to have to do a triple increase somewhere in here, or maybe a couple of them. Don't worry about it. Just follow these methods to get those done and place them about where you place the first ones and space them out as evenly as you can. Place stitch markers ahead of time to plan out your placements of these. You are doing great, and I will see you at the end of this row. Alright, so once you're done with this row, you need to count up how many stitches you now have, and it needs to match the number of single crochets that you made on the very first sleeve. So the single crochets that I made on my very first sleeve, remember, were 29. That means here I need to have 29 stitches here, and wouldn't you know it, I do. Hooray for math. If you don't have the number you need, just go back and make the proper adjustments, and we can move on to the next row, which is very simple. All that we're going to be doing are some single crochets to further tighten up this sleeve and to mimic what we did with the first sleeve. So insert your hook into your loop again. You're going to chain 1 and turn your work, and you are just going to single crochet into each and every one of these stitches just to make it a little bit more refined. I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, so next we're going to start building the length of the second sleeve. So you need to go back to your first sleeve and verify how many stitches long your sleeve is. Mine ended up being 41 stitches. So what we need to do next for our second sleeve is chain that amount. For me, it's 41 plus 1. So that's going to end up being a total of 42 chains made. Now that your foundational chain is done, we're going to start row 1. So looking at your hook, you are going to yarn over and insert your hook into the second stitch from the hook. You're then going to finish with a half double crochet. So again, you yarn over, insert your hook into the second loop from your hook, or excuse me, the second stitch from your hook, yarn over, pull through, so you've drawn up 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3. Then you're going to repeat this, doing the same thing in the next chain. Yarn over, insert into the next chain, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 to make your half double crochet, and keep on going until you reach back to the remainder body of the scarf. When you get to the end of this row, please go back and make sure that you have the proper amount of half double crochets. Remember, for my example, my total length amount of half double crochets was 41 stitches, and I have that. So now that I am back at the start of the sleeve, I need to now attach my first row back to the sleeve. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to insert my hook into the next single crochet of the sleeve that I made, and I am going to slip stitch that fresh row of half double crochets into the start of the sleeve. So again, I'm going to insert my hook right on in there and slip stitch out of that single crochet. And now my sleeve is attached. Now for every row that I make, and that includes the slip stitch rows, I need to slip stitch into one of those single crochets. And when I say I need to slip stitch, that means you need to slip stitch, because that's how this works. So for the next row, go ahead and slip stitch up one more single crochet, and then you are just going to slip stitch into your half double crochet sleeve. So again, slip stitch up to the next single crochet, and then slip stitch into your half double crochet sleeve. Whichever way your yarn is facing is going to probably be weird just based on you having to turn your work. Just roll with it and do what you need to do. Back loop slip stitches all the way down on this sleeve, just like we did our first sleeve. Back loop slip stitches all the way down. All right, now that I have reached the end of this row, my very last slip stitch, I'm actually not going to back loop it. I'm just going to do a regular slip stitch. I find that this kind of gives it like a cleaner finish. And now we have to do a row of back loop half double crochets. So I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, and into that very same first stitch, I'm going to do a back loop half double crochet. You've already done this on the first sleeve, and the rest of this is about to sound really familiar. So insert your hook into the back loop of that stitch underneath your hook and complete a half double crochet. Keep doing these back loop half double crochets until you get back to the beginning of your sleeve. Now that we are back at the beginning of our sleeve, we need to attach this row to the opening of our sleeve by once again slip stitching into the next single crochet up. So slip stitch your work in there, and don't forget to slip stitch up another single crochet to start your next row of back loop slip stitches. Now this should be sounding and looking really familiar to you. We are basically working the same pattern as we did on the first sleeve. So guess what you're doing next? You're doing back loop slip stitches, and that's what the rest of this is going to look like. You're going to do a row of back loop slip stitches, and then you're going to do a row of back loop half double crochets, making sure that you are slip stitching up the single crochet part of your sleeve the entire way to make sure that your sleeve is attached to the rest of your scarf. So keep rolling there, and once you're done, we can do some detailing and fine-tuning. Once your sleeve is finished and it is at the width that you like it to be, go ahead and do a border of single crochet around the hand opening of the sleeve. It's just going to kind of bring everything together, make it a little bit tighter. I chose not to do it, but I recommend that you use a smaller crochet hook, just size down 1 millimeter to do this step. Once you have finished that row of singles, it is time to seam your sleeves together. Now, it really doesn't matter which side of your sleeve you want to be, like inside or outside. Just make sure that you already have that preference noted before you go into this next step. Now, when you seam up the sleeve, you want to make sure that you have the wrong sides facing outside. Do not seam up when you are looking at the side of the sleeve that you want to be outside and visible when you wear this. I currently have my wrong sides facing me as I start seaming up my sleeve. I'm going to insert my hook into my loop. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to insert my hook into that very first stitch that I see right there. Not the single crochet we just made, the other first stitch of the sleeve. So I'm just going to insert. This first stitch might be a little tight, don't worry, it'll just finagle it in there, it'll fit. Insert my hook into the first stitch of each part of the sleeve, draw up a loop, and then I finish as a single crochet stitch. The rest of my seaming stitches are going to be a little bit different. I'm only going to work in the exterior posts of these stitches. So you see those V's right here. I'm only going to insert my hook through those exterior posts where my nail is. So you can see me insert my hook through that post I want to work through. That's where it's going to go, and that's where your hook's going to go. We're going to mimic that same entrance on the other side. So I'm only inserting my hook through that exterior post. If you're working in a foundational chain, it might feel a little bit tight. Don't worry, it'll go, it'll fit. I'm going to yarn over and complete with a single crochet stitch. The purpose of this is this will help mimic that kind of knit braided kind of look on the other side, so it looks a little bit more continuous and less like the sleeve was worked as a panel and then seamed up. Now I do want thumb holes in my sleeve, so I'm going to do this only 2 more stitches down before I'm going to start assessing for my thumb holes. This seems like a good place to start. You should probably do this on the front end. I did look at this on the front end and I figured 4 stitches down seemed to be fine. And take a look at that effect that we're getting on the other side. And I'm going to keep going until I get to where I want for my thumb holes. So I'm about where I want to be to start placing my thumb holes. So I'm just going to put my hand through this real quick and just kind of see where the piece is falling so far in my hand. And then I'm going to try to get a measurement for where to slip stitch to and then eventually resume the seaming. And I don't want too big of a hole, so I'm just gonna like wrap this around my thumb and around my wrist. And I imagine as I'm wearing this, it's gonna fit kind of tight, fit kind of snug, and there might be like some pulling on it. So I'm pulling on it here just a little bit to kind of guesstimate how many stitches I need to leave open for this hole. I'm going to leave 4 stitches open for this hole opening, whatever. And so I'm just going to slip stitch my way down there. 1, 2 slip stitches, and then we're going to do a 3rd slip stitch down. We're just slip stitching our way down. 3, 4, donezo. Now I need to resume seaming by seaming together the exterior posts of my stitches, and I need to make sure that it's aligned, so I do lots of counting to make sure that my stitches are aligned. I insert my hook through the exterior post of the 5th stitch down that I want to seam together, and I do a single crochet to seam them together. And I'm going to continue single crochet seaming those exterior posts all the way until I get to the end of the sleeve. Now I want the seam of the sleeve to actually go up my arm a little bit more just for like some added security, and I wanted to hit about my mid bicep, so I went ahead and measured that out to 11 centimeters. And so I'm going to take my tape measure, set it to 11 centimeters, and then match that up with my yarn and figure out where exactly I need to seam up to. This would be a great place to put a stitch marker so that you know where you need to stop. I'm just going to kind of guesstimate it because I may end up wanting to seam up a little bit higher than 11 centimeters. We will see. Now, because we are going to start single crochet seaming up these double crochet posts, don't worry about like a back loop, front loop, whatever. We're just gonna regular single crochet this. Now, your conventional wisdom when seaming up a double crochet post like this is that you want to place 2 single crochets per double crochet stitch. This is not a hard and fast rule. You don't have to. It is just the conventional wisdom. If you can keep it around there, that's great. If not, as long as it still looks good and you're happy with it, that's what matters. So I measured it out a couple of times before I finished, and I ended up going a little bit beyond 11 centimeters, which I ended up really wanting. once all was said and done, I tried it on and it seemed 12 to 13 centimeters kind of fit my arms a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to cut off my yarn. Yay! Now, one thing I did forget to do here and I had to go back and do is what I would do, or what I usually do, is I chain two before cutting my yarn. You're going to see me go back and think, oh man, I didn't do that. Let me secure this. I find that this gives a more secure knot to chain two, pull up on the yarn, cut it off, and then tighten the knot. There's my second chain right there, trying to get it in there. Boom, done. I'm going to pull on that yarn, tighten it up, tighten the knot. Again, I just find that that gives a more secure knot than doing just one chain. And then I'm going to tie off my tail end so that it doesn't start to fray after I weave it in, and I'm going to cut off the excess right above the knot. All right, that sleeve is done. All that you have left to do is to repeat the seaming process on the other sleeve. That is all. Remember, if you don't want a thumb hole, then don't do the thumb hole. Just seam all the way down. Really easy. And now you are ready to enjoy your warm hug shawl. If you need to weave in your ends, you should weave in your ends. Weave in your ends. If you need to block it, go ahead and block it. I chose not to block mine because I figure it's going to get plenty of stretch as I wear it. So I made it a little bit snug so that it could stretch as I wear it. I'm going to go outside in the cold and be warm instead. Enjoy!